the conceptual side, we talked a lot about like active listening, empathy mindsets. We talked about community engagement principles. A lot of those have been more of a mindset shift, more of a verbal information. And from this point on, from the midpoint, we're actually going to start doing a lot more in terms of like actually doing hands-on stuff. So I'm pretty excited for that shift. As of today, you guys are going to be presenting on the design thinking mindset, so that after this session, we're going to be fully jumping into design thinking, and we'll do a lot of exercises that are actually tools and methodologies you can also just take away after this course and apply it wherever. Okay, I think most of us are here. So today, like you all know, each group will have 10 minutes to walk us through their design thinking mindset, the creative activity or presentation that you've prepared. We won't be doing all of the mindsets, but I found them to be the most just like jumping out that are different. We won't be covering empathy, optimism, and iterate. Iterate will come back during our prototyping stage. I think we covered a lot of empathy in the past 2 weeks. And same goes for optimism. That's just sort of how you should be looking at things. And you had a chance to read about all of these stuff, but we're going to be exploring the other 4, which was embrace ambiguity, make it, learn from failure, and creative confidence. Last time we went in group order. This time I thought I would just make it open floor and let you pick if any group wants to go first. So just let us know.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Where's
Okay.
Wanda?
I'm not sure. We'll just see if they show up, but otherwise that's okay. We can still keep going.
Not sure. Okay, so embrace ambiguity. To embrace ambiguity is to face a problem head on without knowing what the solution is and come up with the ideas no matter how ridiculous. You want to think in the green. I don't think this will work, but ... Hey, come on. There are no wrong answers. Just blurt it out and let's try it out. You don't want to be thinking that every idea is going to be a failure. You don't want to think that some ideas are not going to work or that only one solution can be right for the design thinking process. Theo?
So we have ambiguity as a doubtfulness or uncertainty of meaning or interaction, and an unclear, indefinite, or equivocal word, expression, meaning. So it's not knowing exactly what the outcome is, and having to be secure with that uncertainty.
So if you're familiar with the iZone, at all, they didn't apply a philosophy called yes and. So that's kind of a process in which a person proposes an idea and everyone else builds on top of that. Your goal is simply to just come up with as many ideas as possible. There's no such thing as a bad idea in this activity.
So we're gonna me.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Theo, continue.
Yeah. So we're gonna break up into groups and talk about give you different examples to practice this yes in philosophy, and the goal is to be as wild as possible. Just use your imagination, and whoever is awarded for that will be get a prize.
So I know Julia, who is like the head of the iZone. She always uses the suitcase idea because she's always having trouble packing, and so we're gonna do just that. So Theo, how about we make a backpack with iPhone charger in it?
Yeah, and we could also make that solar powered, so it can be used in a variety of situations.
Yeah, and we could also yes, and we could also make the inside expand and contract to fit so many different items.
Yeah, and we could install a Wi-Fi router, so you could use it for if you're on the go and you need to connect to internet, check
Yeah,
email or whatnot.
yes, and we could also make the design an LED pattern that glows in the dark.
Yeah, and we could also provide it with new batteries in case original ones die out or are destroyed.
Yeah, yes, and we can install motors on it that allow you to ride it around wherever you go.
Yeah, and we can install a camera on that too, so you could use it as a drone.
Yeah, so you get the basic idea. So whoever can come up with the most ideas will have the most spectacular prize of the eternal gratitude of iZone staff and students. So we decided that in order to do a parallel in order to create a parallel for the problems we chose, we decided to introduce the ideas as fictional because we believe if the problem is too real, it could be a barrier to creative thinking, and by making it fantastical, there are no limits to your imagination. It forces you to become more creative. So group one is gonna do sort of like a fantastical version of gentrification. So this town called Mahabalipuram, just outside Chennai, India, has been gentrified by water nymphs sent by their leader to bathe in the elephant tribe's relaxing pools. With their home on the brink of ruin, come with a solution to the elephant's plight. Group two will have rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, these angels some new wings. The third group will have Olinda, on the outskirts of Recife, Brazil, has an inequity problem. Since their bodies are smaller, fairies are paid less for the labor of building the churches in the area. Figure out a better societal need for these fairies. And then finally, the Alcazar in Segovia. So that was kind of a parallel on gender pay inequity. And then finally, Alcazar in Segovia, Spain, was home to a power plant that uses dragons to heat furnaces of reinforced steel swords and transport cargo. However, this has resulted in a huge production of waste materials. How could protect the livelihood of other citizens by protecting the environment around? So we're gonna send you into breakout rooms. Try to be as creative as you can. Come up with the most ideas,
Okay,
and remember,
yeah, go ahead.
there's no limit to your imagination. So go wild.
Okay, so I'm gonna assign everybody to breakout rooms and I'm gonna tell you which room you're in so you know to reread the prompt. We had some people just trickle in. So basically, for the ones who came back, could you go back one slide to tell people what we're doing?
Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with the iZone yes and philosophy, basically you create, basically you propose an idea for a solution for an idea, and then build on top of that. There's no such thing as a bad idea. Your goal is to just come up with as many ideas as possible. Like we just went over the suitcase idea in which we built a computer that has a Wi-Fi router and an iPhone charger and can expand and contract to accommodate multiple items and motors to move around automatically with a camera on it.
Okay, thank you. And can you go
So
back to the problems now?
yeah,
Okay, so group one will be Grayson and Madhavan. So it's the India example that you guys will be doing. Group
yeah.
two will be Yue and Zoe. So you'll be doing the Ethiopia example. Group three will be Alicia and Bertha. You'll be doing the Brazil example. And then group four will be Theo and Paige. You'll be doing the Spain example. So I'm gonna start all rooms now and I'll pull you all back in like 3 minutes-ish.
So we got
we are
the
doing.
fallen angel one.
I'm trying to see the prompt. I can't see. I know it's about Brazil. Linda, I think that was her name.
I took a quick screenshot of it before the presentation ended, so I can read it.
Oh, okay, please.
Okay. The rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, Ethiopia, is the site of several angels who have fallen to their death after being deemed unworthy. Think of some ways to give these angels some new wings. So basically, they're fallen angels that have fallen to their death and deemed unworthy. Think of a way to give these angels some new wings.
Okay.
I mean, we could provide maybe like a safe place for them.
To fall.
Yes.
Okay.
It could be a memory foam.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll also contribute a little, I think. I'll say yes, and I think we could maybe make some frames of some wings out of wood.
Yes, and
Like what material could be used to make the wings nice and usable?
so the wings are wood?
We can make the frames out of wood.
Okay. Yes, and the wings are plastic.
Yes, and to avoid the story of Icarus when he flies too close to the sun, his like wings melt. To avoid the plastic from melting, maybe we can coat it with like a heat-resistant like spray.
Yeah.
What do you think, Bertha?
I don't know. I'm out of ideas today. I can't.
So basically, we're brainstorming how to make some wings.
I'm thinking fiberglass, but that's gonna break.
Why not? Yes, and we can even paint the fiberglass so it looks like a mosaic piece, and it would look super cool.
Okay. Oh, I think it's plastic glass. That's what they use now. I want to ask. Oh, yeah, they probably use that in Turkey also. It's like this plastic kind of, I think it's like fiberglass, or I don't know, Alicia, I don't know if you can help me. Do you ever go somewhere where you see like this plastic, but it's not plastic, it's like this thick material?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's called fiberglass.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking we could build a elevator.
Oh. So they don't have to fly anymore. They just take the elevator.
Honestly, that's great.
Yeah.
So, an elevator to heaven. Sure.
Yep.
Or elevator down and up.
Yes, and we can even make the elevator like be scenic, so that not just angels but tourists also take it.
Yeah. What about the music in the elevator? Because that's gonna be a long.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yes. music inside, like, no.
High Highway to Heaven. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, we need to make that song into Elevator to Heaven and just like edit the lyrics a little. That would be a great elevator music.
Yep. All right.
All
Okay.
right, that was
That was
nice.
good.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, now that everyone's back, let's see how many ideas you came up with. So group 1 got 11.
What?
So group 2, how many ideas did you get?
Was that me and Yue?
Yeah.
I think we got like, how many do you think, Yue? Like 6 ideas? But they were good. They were juicy.
Okay, 6. Group 3, which would be
Is they us?
Yeah, that's us.
yeah, I believe Paige and Bertha.
Oh, okay. We actually came up with 7. I'm sorry, 7 ideas.
Okay. And group 4, which is Theo and
Paige.
Alicia, I believe.
It's Paige.
Paige.
Theo and Paige. Okay.
We got like a good amount. What do you think, Paige?
Yeah, probably like 20 or more.
Oh my God.
They were amazing.
Okay, so I guess that makes Theo and Paige the winners. Give them a round of applause. It doesn't matter if it's virtual or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one. So here's my question. Do you think this activity would have been harder or easier if the problems were actually real, with constraints and reality and human characters in it? Do you think this would have been easier or harder? We ended up talking about how we could terraform other planets with dragons. It's very creative.
I think there was Oh yeah, go ahead, Bertha.
No. Go ahead. You go first.
I was gonna say, I think there was a certain challenge of it being unknown. Like we were trying to figure out how to get fallen angels back to heaven, and it's just like such a out there thing that we started, like we were unsure what to say, but then once we got it going, it started building up and we got more creative. But I think maybe if it was a real world situation and we somehow had a better context, like it was less ambiguous, it may have been easier.
Yeah. So, right? It's harder than it seems. And we introduced this idea so that you could think outside the box, become more creative. Because, like I said, there shouldn't be a limit. There shouldn't be a limit to what you could think of. Heck, you could construct an elevator that goes all the way up. You construct a wood elevator that goes all the way up. So, yeah. So to everyone, thanks for doing this.
Bertha, you wanted to add something?
Well, just something quickly, and I agree with you. It's just, I think the hard part is to present solutions that please everybody. I think that's going to be the main problem, because you can have a lot of, we can have 20 or 25 answers to the problem, but not all of them are going to satisfy everybody. So I think that's the main problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the process of time, we omitted a very important step, which is empathy. But the yes and activity, you actually had to speak with Julia, and you could empathize with her to some extent. Here, you're just given the problems up front without knowing the situation, without knowing more about the situation. So that's where empathy comes into play. But embracing ambiguity, knowing that a solution might not be the right one, might not be the right one is one of the steps in design thinking. Once you get through all our ideas, you can sort out which is the right ones by way of empathy and resources and brainstorming, that sort of thing.
Thank you, Theo and Madhavan. That was a wonderful activity. All right, let's move on to another group now, if anybody wants to go.
I'm good. Our group's good to go if Melissa's okay with that.
Go ahead.
Melissa, do you have the PowerPoint or do you want me to bring it up?
Can you bring it up, please? I'm on my phone.
Okay. Give me like 2 seconds.
This is learn from failure, right?
Yep.
Okay. Also, Paige, Bertho, and Yue, I feel like you're just increasing our expectations by making us wait to hear what you did with our doodles, because I'm pretty excited.
Uh,
All right, let's hear it from Grayson, and who else is here? Alicia. Okay, perfect.
So, this is from the reading that we did. Design starts from a place of not knowing what the solution to a given design challenge might be. Only by listening, thinking, building, and refining our way to an answer do we get something that will work for the people we're trying to serve. So we're gonna do a little bit of activity. So we want people to think about some failures that have come up with shifting to online interfaces. And for a lot of people, that's going to be like shifting to online classes, but I know not everybody here is students. So some examples that we have is like I have a friend who is deaf and has had some issues with accessibility with switching to online. And Alicia, you had your thing?
So I live in Tennessee, so I'm 1 hour behind, I think. And it's kind of a struggle because if I, for example, have a class at 8 o'clock, like I would have to wake up 7 o'clock. It's not that much of an inconvenience compared to like international students who have to like have classes like dinner time basically. But it messes with like the schedule, so it like gets me like out of my routine, and yeah, it's just bad.
Okay, so now we want people to just like throw out there some of the issues and stuff that you have come up against while with the switch to online learning. Either if you want to like raise your hand to talk about that, or not raise your hand, but just like talk about it or put it in the chat.
I had one today. We were making this really, really awesome, amazing thing, and my computer broke. It's still being dysfunctional and loading, and the thing is part finished, and I'm really annoyed. And also, well, I'm on my phone now, but I didn't know where my charger was, so I had to find my charger, and it was all just a big mess. And yeah, it was a really interesting morning, and mildly frustrating because I was invested in the thing that I was doing.
Oh, also, I want to add, even if you don't share it, everybody needs to like think of at least one, because you're gonna have to use this in the next part of the activity.
I'll give you a really bad one. Last semester when we started when we shifted to online, one of my professors was really old and he was having all kinds of trouble with Zoom. And I turned to my boyfriend and I was like, oh my God, he's so cute, but he sucks with like Zoom tools. And I realized I wasn't muted in a class of like 30 people. So that was a big failure. Now I know I always mute myself. But that was a good online failure. There you go.
Okay. I think what's even worse than having to listen to someone over Zoom is teaching over Zoom. Because you're pretty much talking to a blank screen and you have no feedback whatsoever, especially since no one has turned on their cameras. You don't know if they're listening or not. So I'm just yelling at a computer screen without any feedback whatsoever, like they can't hear me or anything, which I don't think is something I would do if classes were in person.
Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I think another, I guess it's not a failure, but more just a downside is that you really don't have the same kind of feedback from other people if, other people are muted and have their cameras off. It just feels like a very deconstructed classroom environment, and then it's harder to thrive and interact with others. On another level, just having that awkward silence in the room of people not wanting to participate and feeling like, I should say something, but not wanting to be the one who is suddenly like breaking the silence all the time.
Okay, so the next part of our activity, I'm gonna let do the example 2 first, because this was Alicia's thing, and I'll let her explain what's going on here.
So basically from another class, I think it was Dewey's class, he made us do mind maps, and basically the center circle will be like the problem that you have or like the failure that you had, and then like branching off of it you can come up with like multiple solutions and then sort of like do a trial and error thing, and you can try that out maybe like when next semester starts or like even starting today. And yeah, so you can use your failures to basically improve your life by doing these mind maps. So choose one of your failures and basically make a mind map, and then after that you can share it to the Slack, and then people can like also pitch in and see if they can help you or something of that sort.
Mm-hmm. So this is an example of one for time differences with, set a timer for 30 minutes before class, you don't miss classes, and having a regular bedtime, using a Google Calendar to set up a schedule, keeping yourself accountable for work that needs to be done. Then for accessibility, having, if somebody asks you to repeat yourself, like repeating exactly what was said, normalize having captions during video chats, presenting all material in written material as well as spoken form, requiring having cameras on when speaking. So come whatever your problem is and make one of these mind maps.
I actually started making my mind map, but I'll make sure to send it to the Slack channel afterwards. So thank you. Okay, so we had a couple people joining in.
So
oh,
I can share my screen again so we can explain what's going on.
okay. Sorry, I think I'm lagging a little bit. So a couple people joined in. So just to let you know, we completed Embrace Ambiguity, and we were just doing Learn from Failure. So Grayson and Alicia were explaining to us what learning from failure as a mindset is, and they wanted to have us do something.
So those are just some examples. So we're probably gonna, how many minutes do we have?
You can take a couple more.
Okay. So probably like in 2 minutes or so, you guys can share some of your mind maps by like video camera, and then yeah, and then the rest of you guys, if you want to, you can put on the Slack channel if you feel comfortable doing that. So I'm gonna put a timer for 2 minutes. "30 seconds left." Okay, would anybody would like to share their mind map?
I will share.
Okay.
My bad. My problem is there is no feedback when I teach because I'm part of UR Splash, and because of COVID, we all had to stay home and test during the give classes during the summer. So what I did was to keep people on their toes. I had to order pick or popcorn pick certain students such that they are always ready for an answer. I also made cameras mandatory, made them answer questions through chats, and gave them homework after class, quote unquote homework.
Great. Would anybody else like to go?
Sure. I seem to be having this huge problem with not being on time, not being ready. And the possible solutions I came up with, I know this isn't too much different from what Grayson said, but were to get ready either right after I get up or like, do one important thing, yes, or like do one important thing and then like get ready, do it, like actually make myself be ready. Next one was to set an alarm for a bedtime, like 45 minutes before I actually want to be in bed, which I thought was a really, really good idea. Exercise half an hour a day outside in the sun so I can actually sleep. And last is like to set an alarm before, last is to set an alarm like 45 minutes before the time that I want to end work and actually have a time that I'm going to end work so I can like collect myself for the evening and like have everything go smoothly the next day. And that's it.
I love those solutions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have one more? If not, that's fine. Okay, cool. If anybody wants to put them on Slack, that is awesome. If not, that's also fine. So basically the point is, like, failures don't have to be failures. You just have to, like, look at them and, like, reframe them and come up with solutions. Cool.
Thank you. I love how you phrase that. Reframe your perspective so that failures become experiences. So that's a really good way to explain the mindset, I think. So thank you.
And personally, I can't wait to be back on campus, get some human interaction.
Same.
Yeah, same. All right, we have 2 more groups left. We have Make It and Creative Confidence left. If Make It is feeling ready, you guys can take a go.
I'm down to try. What do you think, Yue? Yue?
Yes, I'm here.
Would you like to go? I mean, could you share the thing?
Maybe you should introduce first.
Oh, okay.
Then we shall.
All right, that'll work. Our thing was Make It, and we had some issues, but we did end up having good ideas and some really nice work on many sides. We were talking about how making it with design, with human-centered design, is really going to be collaborative. So if you're making a masterpiece, you know, we have this deeply ingrained idea, which is actually really neat in a lot of Western culture, as far as I know, that of this solo artist or this solo designer or solo inventor. But the idea in human-centered design could even be that even more than getting feedback from your user, what if you involve the user in making? This also moves us further along the community engagement continuum, because the user also gains more say in what the project will end up being about. And this could have gone a lot further if we'd started sooner. Thank you. That was like the whole thing. But we did end up having a good idea. So I will say one more thing and then we will flip through and show. This is what we sent out to everyone. Y'all probably saw it. We sent out requests for ideas. I mean, it was all way too late, but we wanted everyone's doodles. And in the request for ideas, we had a lot of different options for each of the teams today. We included like each of the team members being able to say something related to their part of what part of the design process they were working on. And I also decided to like shout out to the other classes because they're doing some really cool stuff. And we ended up then, Yue does color science. I don't remember the exact name, but she came up with these really beautiful, stunning ways to make these into something really special. And I think it all could have gone much better and been more thorough if everything had worked out right, but that's something we're learning. And I was wondering if you guys would like to see what we did. Yeah, it is exciting.
Wait,
could you tell them a little about what you did and like click through maybe?
Yeah, sure.
By the way,
So
did you get my picture? I think I might have sent it to the wrong channel last
No,
night.
I didn't get a picture.
Madhavan,
Oh.
we have your doodle now, but that was like right before class, so they probably didn't have time to include it. But it's in our
Yeah.
Slack channel. I saw it.
Yeah.
I will look.
Sorry.
We will.
I uploaded it to the wrong channel. So.
It's okay. I really appreciated everyone who got a chance. Like, thank you. I saw what you wrote, and we can go further with this at some point.
yeah, so this is the 3 doodles we got so far, and so I did some. I will tell you the magic later. So, so this is we're trying to recreate these doodles and add some like textures or artistic features to the work. So our aim is to we kind of have a roadmap that we can assemble all our doodles together and make a roadmap as a like that's how we make it. And
Yeah.
I can show you like some like what we have for those 3 doodles so far. So this is the one from Denise, and it's a very lovely doodle. And so we add some so what's the magic is we extract the features from like some previous artworks, and we apply those features on the edge information, and here's some doodles. I think like me and Paige agree that they are pleasant to look at. So, and the next one is from Zoe, and I think this one is really like we have the freedom to add more different textures to it, and it really likes like a postcard album. I think it's really beautiful that you designed this pattern, and also the words also make it like very lovely.
Iue?
Yes.
Maybe we can also say, or if timing was ideal and working out, we could ask, but I'd like to afterwards or whenever you feel is good, I'd like to say what they are, because like for each one, this was something meaningful for each person. And I don't know if you'd prefer that I say that afterwards or just say it now. It's up to you.
You can share. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Dennis was she put in the chat. Stupid tech. Could you go back one slide, Yue?
Yeah.
We asked for, we gave a bunch of options, but the one Dennis chose was her favorite memory of community engagement, and that is children and educators dancing together to the traditional circle dance of Turkey. Halay. Did I say it right? I don't know.
Yeah, you said that right.
Okay, cool. And so, yeah, as you can see, it's really, really beautiful. And yeah, next I talk about Zoe's. Can you go back to Zoe's? Zoe's was, okay, I'm just going through Slack. This is all such a mess. It's gonna be so good though.
Zoe is right here. She can share if you
Yeah,
want.
if you want. Yeah, I can share
That's
it.
a really good idea. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. I love this, by the way. This is very cool. This was a bridal shower favor that I created for my friend. She loves nail polish, so I got the idea from Pinterest and then made it come to life using my mom's Cricut a couple years ago and incorporated a nail filer and some nail polish. And we gave it out to probably like 50 plus women. It was pretty cool.
It is so cool.
Thank you.
You want to go on, Ray?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. This is Rob.
Yeah, this one's from Rob. So this is his impression of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Rob's prompt was Rob's favorite brand, and I specifically told him to not make it realistic, but make it so he like draws the way he sees the brand, and he loves Coca-Cola. This is really cool, guys. Also, Rob is going to flip because he's a graphic designer, and I just texted him and he's like, show me, what did they do? I want to see it. This is wonderful.
It's like really cool. Thank you. Like, I love that everybody really did something really, really, really nice. And yeah, it's cool to see them together.
If others don't mind, I would love it.
We didn't finish
if
it.
you can Oh, you're not done?
No, like, well, oh, I don't know about the presentation, but like with the project, no, we're not done. Like we wanted to make it into like this big collage. I wanted to do that, and UA made these beautiful colors. That's what I wanted to do in the end.
Yeah, and I was about to say, if others don't mind, I would love it if you can go back into our Slack channel and follow Paige's prompts to do your doodles, especially because it started with like, I did jumping jacks inside, then there was like a breathing part, and then you drew.
You did it! You actually
Yeah,
did it!
I did it. You prompted us, and I think that was an important component of Make It. So could you give us a little bit of commentary about how this ties to Make It philosophy?
Oh, me?
Yeah, either you, UA, or Bertha.
Yeah, that was my idea because when I'm doing music, when I'm performing, I found that different preparations get different results. So if you tumble out of bed and you kind of throw yourself together and you don't warm up much or you warm up just a little, if you're not in a mindset, like a really designed mindset, where you, well, that's the bad way. I mean, not the bad way, but like not the best way. The better way is to like really bring yourself into that making mindset, you know, be there, like be creative, and you need to take a space. You need to give it time. Those things are just because they get blood flow going. They're things that people don't do. They often like stop breathing. So if you do those kinds of things and come back to yourself, to your body and what your potential is before you embark on making something, the results, you know, when you're making something, it's really no different from a performance. You know, the making is just a private performance. A performance is just a public making. So like, I think that putting rituals and giving space around making really help give your mindset and help you tap into what you can do. And yeah, that was the idea. I think it's really important. For me, at least, it is.
Thank you so much. And like everybody, I loved all of your activities so far. And I know it's a bit like pause and go when it's online, but I think you guys really caught the essence of the mindsets. And I love how creative you got with all of this. So hopefully this has been fun for you all too. So thank you so much. And we would love it if you guys continue this, Paige and UA, if you have time. If not, that's also okay. But I love all of this. So thank you so much. And then
Thank
we
you.
have one final group. Only one person is here, Susan. So if you would like to talk about creative confidence, that would be great.
Hi everyone. I'm gonna share a presentation. Fair warning, like my group did not coordinate very well, and that includes me. I'm not just like dissing the other people. We just
That's okay.
did not coordinate very well, so I just made this presentation. So keep that in mind as you watch it. Okay, yes, I am shopping for cars on Craigslist. Also, how do I present this? Oh, there we go. Okay. Cool. So we did creative confidence, and the first step to this is thinking positively. So you have to keep in mind that everyone is creative. Creativity doesn't mean just talent in drawing or talent in painting, or a lot of the hands-on stuff that you kind of associate with creativity. And it's all about like making leaps and trusting your intuition and chasing solutions. And this was in a quote that in the document that Dennis posted. And you really have to think big and be confident about what you are thinking and what you're putting ideas out for. So some examples of companies that have gotten really successful just based on like thinking big and really taking like leaps and bounds are Facebook, General Electric, and then this like Procter & Gamble company, which I don't know that much about, but obviously we all know Facebook for sure. General Electric is a huge company for like billions of dollars.
Procter & Gamble owns Gillette, right?
I have no idea personally, but it is a big company. So it's definitely like creative thinking has definitely enabled the rise of these big companies And you also think about Google and just all of the really big companies out there. It just had to take so much creative thinking for people to really make the companies. So part of the activity that I want to do is just sharing one thing that makes you creative, and this can be in the chat or this can be out loud, and telling us about an instance that you use that creativity, and this can literally be anything. So I guess I'll go first. I think a lot of my creativity does come in like drawing. I know I said that that's like not all it is, but I would say I'm pretty creative when it comes to like painting and drawing. So I made a painting the other day, and it was something, it was just like a style that I wasn't really used to doing, but it turned out really cool because I just kind of made that leap to try something different. So if anyone has any other examples, shout them out.
I have one that's like one of those like not traditionally creative things. Is I am co-president of a like music club, no jackets required, and we usually do two big or one bigger and one smaller music performance during the semester. And we aren't allowed to do any performances this semester for obvious reasons, which I am not upset about because I think it's smart that they aren't letting us do performances, but we've had to be creative about like how are we still going to be able to like do our music stuff. So this entire semester or this entire summer we've been like, as we've gotten more and more information about what next semester is looking like having to come up with creative ways to still be able to do our music and stuff this next fall. So, and that's kind of been a fun process. Like, I'm upset that we aren't going to be able to do our shows, but it's also been fun coming up with new stuff, and I'm actually really excited about some of the stuff we're doing.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's definitely takes a lot of creativity to kind of rethink like an entire like performance, and especially performances, they're meant to have a crowd and they're meant to be in person, and it's really strange when you kind of have to do all of that online. So thank you so much for sharing. Does anyone else want to share?
Personally,
I'll share.
Sorry, I'll share. Personally, what sparks creativity for me is the news, which I know can be hard given how depressing the world is right now, but I often turn to the news to come up with creative solutions for everyday problems. Like in the stories that I wrote, I talked about an idea for a horror story that puts a volunteer worker in this spectral realm where this volunteer worker in Africa is trapped in a spectral realm where the souls of the irredeemable, or those who cannot change their horrible ways. Like you're talking about conquerors, generals who've massacred millions. You're talking about people who instigate revolution violently. They are mutated into these horrifying monsters whose main goal is to hunt for prey, so to speak. So that's kind of my idea for a horror movie, but it's based off of racism in Africa. It's based off of colonialism. It's based off of the kind of like totalitarian governments in Africa, and it was also based off of the progress that African governments have made over the past years. So, yeah.
Wow, thank you for sharing. That's pretty interesting that you use the news to tie in like your creativity and kind of like problem solving in a way. I think it's cool that you have ideas for like a movie. I've never done that myself, so props to you for thinking about that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I also saw that LaQuanda said in the chat that creativity or creative confidence resonated with her because she's not a visual artist. That is okay, like I said at the beginning. And I know, LaQuanda, that you've said that you really like style and you really like wearing J. Crew. And I think that's a really good way to show your creativity personally. So wanted to comment on that. Does anyone else have anything, any comments about this?
I'll just add that creativity for me comes in, always comes in two different ways. So literally if I'm driving, for some reason, the I guess the mindless activity of driving sparks creativity. I'm creative with, like you said, Susan, like my style, ideas. Whenever we do any activities in Dennis's workshops, as she can tell you, I don't draw, I just write. So when we're showing like our papers, mine is like a whole bunch of words because that's how I think of creative ideas. I know that some people doodle, but for me, it's like words or sentences, or like sometimes I get like little spurts of thoughts, and that thought then like develops into a really cool idea. So creative confidence definitely like made me think about my creativity in a different way and to be confident about creativity, even if it's not in the form of like art or like physical like drawings and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like what you said about driving because I have, you know, like some just like mindless activities. Like yesterday I went biking and I found myself really thinking so much about like next year, and I'm kind of like reflecting on what like is going to be different. And I found myself coming up with some pretty creative like solutions and things that I could do to make myself feel like I'm still a part of campus, even though everything's going to be online. So I definitely, that resonates with me too. And I also like what you said about like writing things down. A lot of times with like these crash courses, there'll be like a prompt to like doodle or do something like kind of hands-on. And I do find myself writing too, just because I can get more thoughts out that way. So thank you for sharing, LaQuanda. Does anyone else have any ideas? I see that Dennis put something in the chat. She said, I think this crash course is a manifestation of my creative confidence. About 95% of this course is delivered to you from my brain as it's connected to different issues I've learned about in the past 7+ years. Dennis, that's awesome. And everyone's appreciating what's coming out of your brain. So thank you for sharing. And you're doing a great job just based off of your brain. It's pretty cool. All right, I have another exercise also. I don't know how much time we have for this one, but we can just go around to a couple people and talk about this. But the next exercise is designing an app. So this is a little bit like the yes and exercise that Dennis, I think, has showed us. And we did that. We also watched a video on this for Doey's class and for the iZone COVID-19 challenge. So if you've done any of those, you'll definitely know about the yes and exercise. So I can talk about that a little bit more too, but just for this exercise, I'm just gonna ask you guys to ideate about an app that would be primarily used for college students, and I'm not gonna give you any more like narrowing down of like what I want the app to be, but I just want you to like shout out your ideas and build off of each other. The yes and exercise is very much like, yes, that idea is great, and I want to add like this idea. So if
Susan?
we want, yeah.
So sorry, but unfortunately we are a little past 7. So how about we start with this activity on Monday? I can give you like 5-7 minutes so we can start with this and then continue from there.
Yeah, you guys can also just post it in the Slack channel and just like think about an app idea, just totally random. It doesn't have to be about anything in particular.
That sounds great too. I'll definitely follow up with this via Slack, and we can give you some time at the beginning of next session so you can finish up this activity as well. But thank you so much. That was a really good conversation, by the way.
Sorry, that's my dog.
All right. I'm gonna very quickly talk about some to-dos, and then I'm gonna let everybody go. First of all, like, thank you everybody for being so attentive and sharing all of your wonderful ideas today. And I want everybody to remember this feeling of creativity as we're moving into design thinking. All of you really pushed the envelope with what you wanted to deliver with your mindsets today. All of the conversations, all of the preparation beforehand, like pages, doodle instructions, what UA did with the colors, Madhavan and Theo's amazing creative prompts, Susan and Grayson's conversations and the mind map. Everything was like very creative, and I want you to keep that mindset most of all. And I'm sure like all of these highlights were extremely useful and extremely helpful, and I want all of us to keep all of these mindsets we talked about today in mind as we move into the rest of the design thinking. So thank you. I think even with like online complications, today went perfect, and everybody usually got exactly what I wanted you to get out of this activity. I would say try to complete the rest of the stuff. So they asked us to do a failure mind map. I shared mine. It takes like 5 minutes, very short. Same goes for pages, doodle instructions. If they want to turn things into a collage, I would urge all of you to do the doodle drawings for them and submit it in our Slack channel. And same goes for Susan's activity. Just have a look at it, but we'll give her time on Monday as well. Actually, let's come back to the main activity for the weekend. It's called a self-exploration activity. There's this presentation right here that's going to talk about the homework step by step. So literally open this link, I'll send it to Slack and follow it step by step. It's going to take you about an hour to complete this activity. And then we're gonna come back on Monday and share our insights from this. Basically, the self-exploration activity will get you to think about your passions, strengths, and problems. If you're in Rob's class or Zoe's class, they may have done something called Ikigai, which is similar to this. So that is the to-do for Monday. Just follow this PowerPoint step by step, complete it, and submit your findings to me. And I'm gonna let everybody go now. If you get any questions, I'm very available via Slack, email, anything, so shoot me a message. Thank you all so much, friends.